Good afternoon, everyone. Chad Gilfillan here again, Senior Vice President, Investment Banking at Red Cloud Securities. Up next is Awale Resources. Joining us is CEO Glen Parsons. Glen and his team have had a strong history of exploration success with past companies, and Awale is working at its extensive project portfolio in Côte d'Ivoire. Glen, you'll have 10 minutes, and then we'll have about a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session. Attendees, feel free to ask questions via the Q&A link. Glen, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Chad. Hi, everyone. Let's talk about Awale. Where are we going? Okay, just in terms of investment highlights. Okay, we are focused in Côte d'Ivoire as a premier West African jurisdiction. 33% of the West African greenstone belt, 10% of resources and growing. And, the endowment is just ever increasing. The nice thing, very underexplored still, even although taken up by the landholding has been taken up, but we've actually got nice first mover advantage there and moving forward. Okay, we're exploring for gold and now copper gold. We say copper gold because that's basically following our recent discovery at the Charger prospect. But Empire Main is our first high-grade gold discovery. We have a nice small deposit at the moment, a little constrained, but we're building ounces along what we call the Empire Corridor. Charger prospect, that has given us a significant discovery in terms of a new style of mineralization not seen in Côte d'Ivoire before, and it's effectively IOCG. These are significant in the sense of they're associated with large systems and large mines around the world. So that's pretty exciting. We adopt a very systematic exploration approach, just building up our confidence, anomalies, test, move on, or develop. As I say, nice district scale land holding. Our focus has been on Bonduku, 1,200 square kilometers, and Odieni. Odieni is the one that has delivered the most to date, and we really be focusing on that, and that is where our ultimate focus is at the moment. We're led by myself, previously Mariana Resources, CEO, as well as the rest of our team is basically Mariana Resources. So a good delivery team, and we hope to do it again for you guys. On the local front, we certainly are very much, uphold our Ivorian presence. We operate an Ivorian team and strong ESG principles, especially environment, where we work with the local authority there, as well as on the social front. I won't delve here, but effectively what you can see though is Ivory Coast in terms of these mines and deposits very much outside of Ivory Coast, and we do see a very underexplored region, and that's essentially why we like it so much, highly prospective. See on the corporate summary side, just shares in issue, we have around 183 million shares in issue. We do have warrants from the various raisings. And we do show cash here. We raised money in May. We did do a 10,000 meter drill program, and obviously that is dwindling. We're aware of that. In terms of our actual shareholding, we directors and management own 20% of the business. We participated in every raise, and we purchased these assets out of Sandstorm when we sold Mariana to Sandstorm, and they've supported us all the way through on every raise as well. And our register sits with institutional and family office around 17%, and then capital shown here with around 7.3%. As I say, the board is as myself, Eric Roth, previously Mariana Resources, Ron Hose from Sandstorm, and Dirk Hartman. But basically the team is very much the old Mariana team when we acquired these properties. And we, as I say, operating a strong social license within country with Ivorians as well in senior positions. Now coming to the crux of it really around Odieni. Odieni has delivered, it's a 400 square kilometer property, and we have been focusing specifically along the southern limb here, what we call the Empire Corridor. The Empire Corridor is a 10 kilometers system, deep-seated old structure. Actually carries on into our application area, and our application area we actually are in the process now of converting that to a granted license. From this you can see the work that we've done. Empire Corridor is the gold discovery at Empire Main, discovery hole, 18 meters at 4.9 grams, and then the Alliance prospect, which we actually put out a release recently, another 3 kilometer long gold anomaly with a 1 kilometer core and up to 0.44 grams per ton is one of the highest values that we're seeing in that 1 kilometer core. So extremely high geochem anomaly, and one that we are trying to proceed to some air core drilling. Slightly to the north of Empire Main, so Empire Main sits down here. Slightly to the north, we have the Charger prospect. And Charger, we were actually looking to develop a satellite deposit that was an anomaly for Empire Main. And actually what we uncovered, we went through really a hematite breccia, which is associated with an IOCG style type of mineralization. It was a narrow breccia, but effectively very high grade. We had 3 meters at 9 grams or 21 meters at 3, but we had this copper coming through, 0.76% copper. And that really has unlocked this mineralization style that we see in the balance of the property. We actually took a step back and really looked at our data that we had done before. And as you can see, we've done significant work at ODNE. There's a little bit of Randgold data. Randgold had this property in the 1990s. We put those together from a base metal perspective, and then suddenly we can see this massive at the Scepter in the middle here, the Scepter prospect. We have a massive copper gold anomaly. So now suddenly this copper gold is coming into our focus as well. So we've got gold down below at the Empire Corridor where we're building ounces, and suddenly this IOCG that we're really trying to unlock this system. IOCGs are, massive systems around the world. You've got Olympic Dam in Australia, Caracas in Brazil. We have similar systems up in Scandinavia, in Canada, as well as the Senegalese and Mali border, the KKI, where we see, there's a number of large mines, and it's associated with this hematite type alteration, this IOCG type alteration. So we're pretty excited about this. It's not been seen before in Ivory Coast. And the plan is to actually develop those targets on those large anomalies, and we'll go back into that. Quickly shooting to the ODNE project, the Empire Main. And this sits, as I said, on the southern end of the property. Empire Main is where our discovery is. And this is a picture, a gram meter long section of it. It's 200 meters long, about 125 meters deep, true depth, and about 30 to 40 meters wide. It's a high grade envelope. We're looking at probably in the region of 150,000 ounces of around 3 to 4 gram material. So a really nice open pitable resource. It is small, but we know that this mineralization has a plunge, as we have a hole down here at around 200 meters with very similar and visible gold and alteration style carrying on at depth. All this is in source rock. It's in fresh rock. And the nice thing is that all our drill holes in this zone has been tested for, we've done leach well testing, and the recovery is run at about 95%. So very high recoveries. So an exceptional little high grade deposit. It is constrained, and that's why we've actually been working the extension. Empire Gap, we've hit a similar diorite where we see the main zone, and it's about 150 meters offset south. We've got similar mineralization. We've gone through veins, a nice 1 meter section. We haven't quite gone through the same sort of widths that we saw at Empire Main, but it's open at depth. So the ability to pull in, again at depth is certainly there, but we haven't chased depth for the moment. Obviously, depth means more expensive drilling, and we certainly are aware of that being a junior. The idea is for us to be putting in multiple satellite deposits or multiple deposits, or have one big one and Empire Main becomes a satellite. We see the analogy for this is really a Segela, a rocks gold type scenario. Similar setting, we're on a western splay, rocks gold Segela is on an eastern splay off the main Sasandra fault. And we are on an old structure, deep-seated structure with multiple trapping sites. The ability to pull in multiple deposits is very real. As I say, we are developing ounces. So the idea is for us is to build ounces on the Empire Main. The Empire Main sits down here on the left. And we announced recently the Alliance Prospect. The Alliance Prospect is a 3 kilometer soil anomaly along that corridor on the northern limb of the corridor. So that's the northern limb. And we're on the southern limb with Empire. And it's a 3 kilometer anomaly with a 1 kilometer core. That purple there is a 1 kilometer core. Where we're looking at greater than 100 ppb anomaly, gold anomaly. The idea for us is to come in here and actually do some air core, probably to around 30, 40 meters, and be able to, really see, are we onto another system similar to what we're seeing at Empire Main. So that is our focus in the immediate term, and hopefully coming back in December with some RC drilling in terms of scout drilling. Moving just to the north of Empire Main, I spoke about the Charger prospect. We had a nice gold anomaly to the north. It's about 3 kilometers to the north of Empire Main. And we did do 4 RC fences, really just anomalous. So we didn't have any great success there. Besides, we actually came into this hematite breccia. It's a very small, narrow breccia. However, we had extremely high gold, as well as elevated copper, up to 0.76% copper. If you look at this core photo, you can see the red here, this hematite alteration. Hematite is associated with iron ore, and effectively, with the fluids that are coming up is generally coming up from deeper. It's a magmatic fluid. So the idea, so the style of mineralization is very different to Empire Main. And that's what so that discovery actually made us take a step back and say, okay, we've got this base metal anomalism over our property. What is driving it? And suddenly we have a model that's come in now that can actually help us assess whether it is driven by this sort of IOCG style system. We took a step back, as I said right in the beginning, and we looked at all our data. And really, this insert is really around the middle of the property. And we looked at it from a copper perspective as well as gold. The heat map is the copper, and all the dots are effectively gold. And what you can see here is this monster anomaly. It really is significant. These are significant systems. And generally, as I say, the systems drive large mines. Not seen in before. No one else has reported this IOCG style in Côte d'Ivoire before. So it really is a new discovery just based on that little, one little hole sitting here in Charger. That's what's unlocked or uncovered a model that we think works quite nicely here. It is, if you look at analogies, they certainly are very similar. We sit on the splay. It's right on the crust, on the cusp. There's a lot of intrusions here. So the setting is ripe. The age of rocks is ripe for an IOGC style. And we have this massive anomalism. So the idea is for us to we're busy tightening up the data. So we have some data, some of these heat maps, there's just a little bit of, the data is a bit sparse. We've actually already come in here. We've actually got more data. It's gone sitting at the labs. We're waiting for that to come back. And then we'll be ready to actually do some scout drilling here also, again, probably the end of November, early December. The idea would be to follow up on Alliance after the air core, and then actually come and do some holes, some scout holes over Sector East, which is sitting over here. And then this 50 kilometers, we'll probably have refined a few targets within that for a few holes in each. So the idea would be to test that IOCG principle and actually test the mineralization. So we really do look forward to that, and we think it is actually going to unlock this whole IOCG style within this greater region. So it could actually, develop even further beyond just our permits, but actually very significant for the moment. Quickly to sum up as well, though, we have been working in the east, the northeast, which is the Bonduku project. So we have 80-odd kilometers of known mineralized trend. We've developed targets, we build them up, we've tested them. To date, not much, we certainly haven't had the results that we would have expected. So we do carry on doing work, very low cost work, mapping, continually looking at ideas, relook at our understanding, and move forward to ready for testing. Our focus is on ODNE, where we really are looking to build ounces down on the 20-kilometer Empire corridor and unlock the IOCG model specifically around Charger and Scepter, where we have these really nice anomalies. As I say, we're refining those, ready for drill testing, and and then we'll get some error mag in there as well from an overall property perspective. So pretty exciting times for us going forward. And we're on a pretty nice path in terms of building those ounces. Thank you.
Glenn, you finished that exactly on time. Unfortunately, we don't have any time for questions, but I can say that I know that you and your team are very excited about the IOCG potential at ODNE, and look forward to seeing those results with time.
Thanks very much, Chad.
Thanks for your time, Glenn.